Hi, this is Pastor Jedidiah, and I am back with you today with another word that will touch your heart and change your life. You know, it's one thing to be inspired, and it's totally another thing to inspire other people. And so, my job here today is to inspire you to do greater things, to inspire you to be great and to be great for the Lord, to lift Him high and to make Him known throughout the world. Well, today, as you can see, we are in a gymnasium, and it is a home gym. Actually, it's my son's home gym, and it actually needs to be mine too. I need to be working out here on a regular basis, and we'll talk about that another time. But today we're going to be looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 9, and we're in a section that's talking about Paul's work as an apostle, starting in verse 24 of chapter 9 of 1 Corinthians. Don't you realize that everyone who runs in a race runs to win, but only one runner gets the prize? And so he's saying, hey, if you're going to get into this thing, if you're going to get into this race called Christianity, if you're going to get into this race called pleasing God and bringing glory to God here on the earth, if you're going to get into that, then make a decision to get in it to win. And I want to tell you before we even get started that I am in it to win. I'm in it to win. And that's what Paul was telling these people, these Corinthians. He was saying, look at me. Take me as an example. I am in it to win. So he says, don't you realize that everyone who runs in a race runs to win, but only one runner gets the prize? Run like them. Run like that one who gets the prize. So Paul is encouraging them to be like that one. Don't be like everyone else who is mediocre or who is just in it kind of, halfway in, halfway out. Paul says, be like that one that runs in order to get the prize. Now, I've seen my son down here working out, and I don't know how many years it would take me to come to the level where he is at. He has actually won some beach body contests and those kind of things. And so he's a pretty buff dude, he's about 6 foot tall, and he's down here working out twice a day. And so that's what Paul is talking about. Have that discipline, have that self-motivation, have that desire, and put it into action where you're actually doing it. It just so happens that this gymnasium is right next to my office. And I walk right by here every day. And I have yet to put in a thorough workout in this gym. And that's to my discredit. It really is to my discredit. But it's also an example for you that many of us, we have that Bible and we have access to it, yet we walk right by it every day. And if we don't pick it up and we don't use it, it does us no good. It benefits us nothing. The word talked about how there were a people who received the word of salvation and they did nothing with it. And so it benefited them nothing. They did not add their faith and action to it. So it benefited them nothing. So Paul goes on to say, be like that one who runs to win. Run like them so that you can win. Everyone who enters an athletic contest goes into strict training in a place just like this. Everyone who enters an athletic contest goes into strict training. When was the last time you considered that you are actually in a contest? No one can give you the discipline that it takes. You have to find it deep within you. It has to come within you, that discipline, that drive to be the winner, to use the equipment, to exercise, to do what it takes to be the winner. And so he says, if you enter into that race, be like the one who enters in to win. The Apostle Paul goes on to say that they do it to win a temporary crown, but we do it to win one that will be permanent. Everything that happens in this gym physically is actually a temporary thing. As many muscles as are built and as many reps that are made and as many goals that are achieved and lifting certain amounts of weight, aggressively bench pressing, all of those things are good and they're beneficial for the body. They certainly are. But they are also temporary because this physical body will fail. And so the Apostle Paul is just using this as an example and saying, hey, look also to the spiritual things. What are you doing for your spiritual life, for your spiritual walk in Christ? Do you have the same discipline, the same motivation, the same character, the same drive, the same zeal, the same focus as one who enters a race in order to win? Because that's what you're going to need. That's what you should have. It should be part of who you are, that you enter this thing to win. You enter to win it. It says they do it to win a temporary crown, but we do it to win one that will be permanent. So I run, think about this, he says, so I run, but not without a clear goal ahead of me. You know, it's so important that when you get into ministry or you become a Christian, that you begin to set some goals. And those goals will be things that you achieve, just like an athlete who sets a goal for bench pressing. I remember just a while back, my son was increasing the amount of weight that he could lift on the bench press, and he got to some staggering high numbers. And I remember he would come to me and say, hey, can you come over here and spot me because I'm going for a new level. And I feel like I have it. I feel like I've got it. But if I can't quite get it back up, I'd like to have you there to help me. And so it's like that with us. You know, we need to be progressively moving forward, progressively setting goals, new goals that we can achieve. And we need to be bringing other people into the picture with us who can help us. You know, Christianity was never meant to be done alone. Christianity is like a team sport. You know, we are meant to do this thing together for the glory of God. And so he says, so I run, but not without a clear goal ahead of me. So I box, but not as if I were shadow boxing. He's saying, hey, you know, this thing that I'm doing, I'm not just shadow boxing. I know who I'm fighting, and he is a real enemy. But I also know that he's under my feet in Jesus Christ. Because I belong to Jesus, the enemy is under my feet. And so the Apostle Paul says, hey, I'm not just out here fighting shadows. Like you see some shadows back here. You know, the funny thing about a shadow is that in order for there to be a shadow, there has to be light. And so he's saying, I'm not out here fighting those shadow things. I'm doing the real thing. I'm in this to win. I am the Apostle Paul. I'm the one that's running like the ones who entered those races in Greece, and I'm in it to win. I'm not in it to play around. I'm not in it to shadow box. I'm in it to win, and that needs to be our desire. He says, rather, I toughen my body with punches and make it my slave so that it will not be disqualified after I have spread the good news to others. He's saying, you know, I subject my body to Christ. I dominate this flesh through the Spirit. I put this flesh to crucifixion. I present my body as a living sacrifice so that I myself won't be disqualified on that day when Christ comes. He says, I present my body as a living sacrifice. And so his point here is that he is out spreading the news, the good news. And he's not doing it haphazardly. He is setting some specific goals. He's achieving specific goals. He's following a plan. And that plan is a plan that he can build upon and increase, and he can bring others into. And that's what God is saying to you today. Hey, if you're going to get into this thing, this Christianity or this ministry, do it with the attitude of an athlete who is in it to win. Do it with the mindset and the vigor and the discipline of an athlete who is in it to win. You see that sign back there on the wall says great. And this room is actually, though you can't see it, you can see some of the posters on the wall. They're filled with pictures and images of people who were the best in their particular field. They were the absolute best in their particular field, whether it was football or soccer or basketball or weightlifting. They were the absolute best at what they did. And so that's the mindset that is the mind of Christ. Hey, you need to be the best at being a child of God. You need to be the best Christian that there is. You need to be the best preacher, the best teacher. You need to be the best Bible study leader. You need to be the best evangelist. Your goal should be a lofty goal. And that goal is that you will bring glory to Christ through the work that you do for the gospel of Jesus Christ and the spreading of the good news. And that means you're going to have to bring your body into subjection. You're going to have to get a control on things. You're going to have discipline. You're going to have focus. You're going to have goals. You're going to have plans. And God will be with you every step of the way if you will first commit that you're going to run this thing just like the ones who enter those races to win. So commit today to God that you are going to be the winner. You are going to run it like those who enter it in to win. You are going to run it like a champion. And so today I just want to leave that word with you again from 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through the end of the chapter. And, God is looking for warriors. He's looking for people who will come behind those who are in the race and running the race. He's looking for people to run the race, but he's also looking for people to support those who are out there in the world sharing the good news. So I want to invite you today to support my work on Patreon. If you'll go to www.patreon.com/Pastor Jedidiah, you can become a fan of the work that I do in producing anointed resources that touch hearts and change lives. And so beyond becoming a fan, you can also become a patron. I'd love to have you as a patron. I believe that it would be a wonderful thing to have you with me on this race. And I know for sure that we can win. Join us also on crownlifeministry.org. Join us on pastorjedidiah.org. And also missiondelcarib.org. Those are the ministries that we lead and are leading in this world, and we're leading them like champions and winners. We're touching hearts and changing lives all around the world. All right, well, you have a blessed day.